ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे श्रीचैतन्यमनुक्लिष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीपदं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सर्वगुणगणनाथं सजीवम् साद्वैतं साद्वैतं वैगनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा विष्णुपादं सद्गुणचरितं श्रीसाईनाथंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णदेवतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नमस्ते गौरांगसे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृष्णवान सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण शांति से बैठिए so just few things so I am very quick दो ही लोग हैं or three some people may be coming later not sure right so anytime you have any question, the class will be majorly in English or 99% in English. If you have any doubt anytime, feel free to ask question. And you should ask question. You are encouraged to ask question. Any place you are feeling like having a doubt or you need some clarification, you have any question which you want to clarify, feel free to ask. Because our Shastra we learn by inquiry. Our whole Shastra, the Bhagavad Gita itself is inquiry. Inquiry of Arjun from Krishna, right? What is going on, right? So same way Upanishad, all Puranas you see, it's all inquiry between two people or yeah, inquiry between two people, and that's how it is. So that's how we learn by inquiring, by getting knowledge like that, and clarifying order. So feel free to ask anytime you have any question. So last time we were discussing 2.60 to 2.63. So in this major section, we are at chapter 2, towards the end of chapter 2. And chapter 2 is called summarization of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Summarize the content of Bhagavad Gita, like the whole thing. Because it has elements from all the chapters, one or few elements from all the chapters. And when written properly or when written with that intention to understand everything. It summarizes all the things together. If someone wants to understand what is there in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2 actually summarizes it. From what happened before, it's just chapter 1, and then what is afterward. Right. So it starts with when Krishna started talking about soul, that you are not this body, but you are soul. Right. And then the properties of soul, what are all things which are properties of soul. And when he was explaining, he came to a point where he talked about sthir prajna. Sthir prajna or sthir prajna are the people who are focused on one thing, like one-minded focus, right? So those people are called sthit prajna. So when that term came, Arjun became a little curious and asked question like, what does sthit prajna mean? What are the qualities of such kind of person? Right? How do they behave? So these are the four questions which he asked. That first question he asked, that the first question he asked was, what is the symptom of sthit prajna? Means every person has a characteristic, right? If you see someone rich, someone not rich, someone in corporate itself, you see you're working in IT. Yeah, where? Lloyd. 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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I did not know we have IT for that company also, GCC here. Okay. Yeah, that was surprising. All right. So even in company, when you see you have managers, you have director and all, and then there are some new joiners or someone who are like 3 4 year experience. And by seeing them you can actually realize, okay, the people can be of at which level approximately. 50 members you can start with. Very good. Uh, uh, so so everyone have their characteristic. By seeing them you can actually recognize or you can understand, okay, this person must be, say by seeing a manager, this person must be at managerial level also, right, or CXO, right? So same way, a person like who is a devotee, who is still pragya, right, they also have a kind of characteristic, they have a kind of their personality, right? So Arjun asks, what are the symptoms of sthir pragya? Means that is a direct question. What are the symptoms of schizophrenia? But because the context was happening in the war and the previous question which were asked, so the question actually what he wanted to ask was, how does this person act when he is put into adverse or disturbed situation? Right. So that was the context when he was asking that. Then the second question he asked, how does he speak? He does not want to know like how does he speak, but now the thing is going on in disturbed or adverse situation. Then how does this person respond when he is put into some distress situation? Right. So that was second question. Then the third question he asked like how does he sit? How does he sit? Not literally how we are sitting. But sitting, when we sit, means we actually stop all our senses. Stop not the mind and all, but at least all our organs to give it rest. So same way, what he was asking the deeper on in depth that how does the person control his senses? Like when it is not required, how does it make it? How does he withdraw or stop working his senses? Right. And then the last question, how does he walk? Walking, we start again applying our organs and start walking towards it using the hands and legs. Right. So how does he walk means now when the situation demands, how would he start applying his senses or how does he start working on his senses, right, towards the situation. So those are the four questions he asked. And till last time we covered three questions. How does he act in disturbed situation? So Krishna told that he act somehow who is not very uh, who does not become very happy when something good happens or who does not become very sad when something bad happens. He becomes somehow in all situations. And similarly, he responded to the second question also. That how does he respond to disturbed situation? Again, when he is happy or when someone did a good thing for him. So he will not go on top and start praising him all the like with too many happy adjectives, right? Like you are my everything, you are the best person and this and that. Like he will not is he will not be elated while he is responding, right? Not going over the top. And when when it is not said, when the situation is not according to what he wanted, he will not started accusing others or abusing others because of that. He will again be in the same line. He will become somehow accepting that it is a Krishna Prasad. It is what it is. Right. So the third question when he asks how does he sit, that how does he stop his senses from sense objects? So last time we saw that there was an analogy like tortoise. When danger situation comes, what he does, he retracts all his limbs inside the cell. Same way, when a disturbed or adverse situation comes, so Krishna answers that how we can stop our senses towards sense objects. So sense objects are the object which or anything which stimulates our senses. Like for as an example, like seeing a chocolate. You're seeing a chocolate. If you see chocolate, what do you want? If you see a chocolate, you want to eat it? No. Okay, maybe chocolate is not your favorite. Who wants to eat chocolate? How about toffee? Rasmalai, ice cream, huh? Fruits. Amazing. Mango, mango. Good choice. Yeah, best choice actually. Yeah. So mango becomes here the sense object because what it does when we see mango, rasila, then what we like we will start feeling array. I want to eat it. Right. So mango is sense object and our sense. Here the sense is eye because it sees, it sends the signal to the mind, and then we start feeling like okay, I should eat it. Same thing with other like when we hear a good music, right? We like or a little bit beats, and then we start okay, let me listen to that song. So same way, all other things, right? So that sense objects and our senses. So sense objects are all those objects, all signals, all things which stimulates our senses. So how does he walk? Now he will start answering the last question. How does he walk? And so a little recap. Uh, so last time what we discussed 61, 62 and 63, where he in 61, what Krishna told that one who restrained his senses, again he was answering the question number 3 only, how does he say it? So the one who restrained his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as the man of steady intelligence. Right. So one word here comes upon me, which is very important one. Right. So someone who controls his senses. How does he control? By fixing his consciousness upon Krishna. Right. He tells him here himself that upon me. He does not say upon any other person, upon uh, soul, upon some any other external object, sound, light, or anything. No. He says specifically upon me, Matpara. And here we see Matpara. Right? And that is the person known as the man of state intelligence. That way, one can actually become focused or one-minded. One-minded focus he will gain. So I'm going quite fast because it's the recap. We'll do that. So here, Matpara means my bhakti. So here Krishna says that. A lot of people ask where does it Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that you do for me and why Krishna? Right? That is the answer, Matpara. That's why Krishna. Because Krishna himself is saying that you do my bhakti. Right? He does not say you do anything else. Right? You do my bhakti. Then in 62 and 63, we were discussing something very important. I will just go through that. So here he started explaining the ladder of delusion. Like what happens, what are the things which leads us to anger and the consequences of it. Right, so it's called descending ladder of delusion. How we will become delusional? Delusional means when we are in this Maya world, we are bound to become delusional. So what happens? We see the sense object, we see something which stimulates our senses, and then we start wanting it. We are like, now, okay, this is very good, and I want it for myself. And that initiates like we get reaction in our mind that we want it, and when we start contemplating on them, okay, if I get it, let's say, I'll give an example after this. If I get that object, yeah, that is good for me. It will that whatever happens, let's say if it is sweet, it will be very good. Then we start thinking about that object, and gradually we develop attachment towards it. We become attached. Okay, I want that object, and okay, let me finish my job and then I'll do. Then, while that thinking, the lust, that kamna, right, the strong desire to get that object develops. Yes, it is for me only. Right, I want this. And when we don't get that, by any chance, we don't get that object, what happens? We become disappointed and angry. Right. With example, it will be very clear. With anger, we all know that anger stops our thinking, right? With anger, what happens? The complete delusion comes. We start thinking that this was made for me only, and I'm not getting it. Why I'm not getting it? And then we start thinking all nonsense things. Bewilderment of memory, right? thinking that the delusion leads to bewilderment of memory. We become bewildered why I'm not getting it and what is the reason and all those things. And we do something which is not intelligent to do. Like say shouting on someone, beating someone, right? So loss of intelligence. And that cycle, this is a cycle of why we get stuck into this material world. That cycle is causing us to fall into the material world. Right? Because of our strong desire to get that. Because we started contemplating on the sense object, how we should get it, why I'm not getting it. And that thinking leads us at the end to falling into material world. So we'll understand with an example. So yeah. So the example here is the say one ice cream. So you and your roommate are in the room, you are doing your work, you have a meeting, and your roommate comes with two sets of ice cream. One you already ate, and another ice cream is here. And then he's like, "This ice cream is for you." And you said, "Okay, okay, let me finish my meeting, and then I will eat it. It looks so tasty. It looks so tasty, right? So then I'll eat it." And then what happens after your meeting finishes after 1 hour, and then you go open your fridge, and then you say, "Ice cream is gone." Right? What will happen when you see that ice cream is gone? What would be your first reaction? Who ate my ice cream, right? So first thing like, अरे कहाँ गई मेरी आइसक्रीम? Right? Because the whole meeting you were thinking, अरे जल्दी से meeting खत्म हो. Let the meeting finish early so that I can eat the ice cream. Oh, it looks so tasty and all this thing. Right? Your mind is always working towards that sense object. You are thinking about that, and in the process you actually develop attachment. Okay, once my meeting will be finished, I'll go and eat that ice cream. Yeah, it is so great. Thank you. In mind, might be thanking your friend also. Thanks that you got ice cream. I wanted to eat that ice cream today. Right. And then when you don't get it, that's it. Boom. Who ate my ice cream? And then a friend comes and say that, oh, I thought you don't want to eat because you were not coming. That's why I ate it. I was so hungry. And what happened at that time? You start shouting on friend. Right? Generally, most of the cases that will only happen. You will shout on friends, you will have a fight, bewilderment of memory, that what is right and what is wrong, and then in the end, that causes this whole cycle. And with everything in our life, the same thing happen. Like take any example. You can take example of your office. You can take example of your family life. Right. The same thing keeps on happening every now and then. That we develop attachment towards, say, our family or our kid, and we think that he will do as we want, and when he does not do, that's it. Like he's just jumping, and if he'll not start jumping, and I like carry pads on, then maybe I'll shout or whatever, right? So that attachment thing, right? That delusion and attachment that keeps us bind to this material world. And that is a problem. And that's what he explained with these two verses, 61 and 62. 62 and 63. While contemplating the sense object, the person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. When we don't get that object. Right? And in 63 explained, from anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material. Right? So there is a quote. Right? If you are not serving Krishna, you will be serving Maya. You have to serve. No one can live without serving anything. Do you think anyone who can live without serving anything? Say, if you are serving God, then you are serving God. If you are not serving God, you are a family man, you are serving your family, your wife and your kids. You don't have wife and kids, you will be serving your mother and father, your friends, right? Or if you don't have anyone, you are living in Himalaya, then you will be serving your body. But you always, like we always serve one, anyone, right? We serve ourselves in the end, right? But no one can live without serving. So the quote is like, If you're not serving Krishna, then you will be serving Maya. And when we are serving Maya, Maya will, why she will let us go? We are the good servant, right? So if a rich person has a good servant who is serving that person very nicely, will he let it go? No. Why would Maya let us go? It's like, be here. We are serving very nicely. And if we serve Krishna, maybe if we are serving good, Krishna will call us, come serve with other devotees, come serve me where I'm living, rather than serving Maya. And so any question? I know I went too fast here. So Dhyato Visyan Punsa came here, that word. So the point was here like this ladder is clear. Is that clear? The cycle? What happens? So Arjun asked the question here, how to stop the senses? Right. That was the question. Kim Asit. How do they sit? Means how do they stop the senses at adverse condition? So the cycle was explained by Krishna here to tell that where to stop. Where in this ladder you think you should stop? Where? Sense object. You cannot stop sense object to it. How can you stop someone making rasgulla or someone making ice cream or anything? Right? You cannot stop sense object. Senses, that is the point. Like how to stop senses? Where? In this ladder, where should you stop? I'll just increase this on
Second.
first actually. When you stop thinking about it, you'll not develop attachment. If the ice cream is front of that person, or he knew, he was not thinking much about it, he was just focusing on meeting, he might not have developed that attachment and entered that lust. Right? That I have to get ice cream, I have to get ice cream. He was not, if he is not thinking, then he will not say, Arey, chalo, theek hai, nahi mila, nahi mila. Because he was not much attached to it. So always, what Krishna is saying, like you have to stop at contemplating stage. And don't think that was the previous thing. Where what is the characteristic? What are the characteristic of those people? They don't get too elated when the good things happen. Those people. And they don't get too sad when bad things happen. Why? Because they don't think much about it. They will take the lesson from it. But they will not start contemplating, "Arey, ye kaise ho gaya, ye kya ho gaya." I'll take one simple example. In everyone's life that happened. We all drive car or bike, right? Sometimes when you has anyone been into road race situation? No? It may you who have been there. Or someone hits your bike or car and then starts shouting. We have never been to that. What happens after, say, the fight happened for, not fight, like maybe some argument, right? Happens for 5 minutes. What happened after that? When both of you are on your way? What happens?
It stays on your mind forever.
For a while, for hours, or for a day also, sometimes, depending on how fierce was the fight. Right? We start thinking, oh, why I should have said that, I should have done this, I should have done that. Isn't it? Because we start contemplating on them. We start thinking like again and again and again about them. And then our mind is always absorbed into that fight only until something else happens and it's gone. So that contemplation, it has to stop at that contemplation stage. Like in software testing, we say that it has to start at the start itself. It has to stop at the start or found out at the start itself. Because if you find at the time of say UAT, when users are testing, it will cost a lot to fix that one simple bug. Right. So stop that thinking about it when it comes in front of you. Don't think too much about it. That's what Krishna is explaining here to Arjuna. Right? If you stop thinking much about that, you will not be deluded. You'll be out of that land. Right? So Dhyate Visyan Kursa means that Visya means subject, right, or object right here. So Visyan Kursa, about that object, don't think much about it. Rather, you think about me at that time. So yeah, that's what it is. So we'll discuss that again, all our senses in service of Krishna. So we'll go with 0.64. Any question? Anything? Please feel free to ask anywhere you have any question. Right, or something which looks a little difficult. Right. So repeat after me. रागद्वेषा विभक्तैस्तु विषयं प्रियैश्चर आत्मवश्य आत्मवश्य विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति रागद्वेषं विभक्तैस्तु विषयानीन्द्रियैश्चर आत्मवश्य विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति. Anyone from those? रागद्वेषा विभक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चर आत्मवश्य विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति. रागद्वेषा विभक्तैस्तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैश्चर आत्मवश्य विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति. The translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principle of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Now, he started answering the fourth question. What was the fourth question? Anyone remember this? How do they walk? Means, how do they utilize their senses? Right. When the right time comes, when the right conditions come, how do they utilize? So he started answering the fourth question, and he will answer for the next 8 verses, the fourth question. Right. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Prasadam adhigachati. Right. So, three important things here. The regulative principles of freedom. What are the regulative principles of freedom? What is the regulative principle, guys? Prescribed what? Prescribed duties are not regulative principles. We have 4 regulative principles. What are those? Right. So, why regulative principles are important? First of all, if you don't have discipline in your life, right, it's very difficult to follow uh, what is being instructed by Bhagwan. Right. It's very important to know. Like, bhakti does not happen just like our whims. The way I want, I can do bhakti. Yes, people say that I am Bhakt, I am Ram Bhakt, I am Krishna Bhakt, I am Hanuman Bhakt, and they do all kind of nonsense thing. But that's not really bhakti. Right? It's not even first stage of bhakti per se. Bhakti starts when someone completely surrenders to Bhagwan. That means whatever happens in my life, he will take care. I don't have to worry about it. That is a complete surrender. So just by saying that I am Bhakt does not make that we are Bhakt. Like none of us are actually at that stage. Right? None of us. Right? Because we have never fully surrendered to Lord. I can take one simple, I can prove it here itself. So, just as an example, if uh, if someone gets sick at our home, what do we do? We take care, we take them to the hospital, we think like, okay, which doctor and this, that. We never think that, okay, Let God take care. I'm not saying that you should not take them to hospital. Disclaimer, right? But at that point of time, we don't think about that. Okay, God will whatever He is doing right. What I think He will control the situation, rather than thinking that God will control the situation. We think that okay, we will do whatever we can. Right? So we have not fully surrendered and taken any situation. We hardly leave anything on God. We think that we'll control ourselves. Right. So four regulative principle here are important to have that discipline, which will take us to the stage of to like start of the bhakti. Or when we follow this, at least we'll walk on the path of bhakti. So what are these regulative principles? So in Vaishnava tradition, the regulative principles are right. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, means no alcohol and other intoxicant, and no illicit relationship. These four are regulative principles. And when I say like that, it looks like okay, these are too much to ask, but it's not. These are not some spiritual or these are not just the shastric principles, but these are actually ethical. If you say, if you think about it, these are nothing but moral and ethical principles. No meat eating. Let's take as an example. This earth is not only for humans, right? Who has given us right to kill and eat any other animal? If if we think that we have given right, then any other creature who is bigger than us or some alien comes, if they started killing us, then that also should not be wrong. Or some other human comes and kill our child and eat, that also should not be wrong because they are stronger. That's the reason, right? People exploit and kill and eat the animals because they think we are more intelligent, we are more strong, and that's why we have the right to eat it. Then someone who is strong, they can kill a child and eat it. They are more intelligent, they are more strong. Right? So it's not ethical. Forget about the spiritual point of view. It's not ethical to even kill and eat any animal. Right? Second, intoxication. No intoxication. Right? In no in no civilization, in no proper civilization, alcohol or any kind of drugs or whatever cause intoxication is considered good. Right? Even morally also. Someone who does not believe in God, someone who is atheist, they also don't consider these things to be a very good thing. Right. So it's a very common sense that. Why? Because this leads us to why Cyberabad police always on Friday evening you see on the roads, Mukoro, Fuko, why do they do that? Because it leads us to delusion. Right. Our response time gets lost, it reduces and reduces, sorry, it increases, and then we are not able to think through, or we are not able to think properly when we are intoxicated, or not we, anyone who is intoxicated. They will not be able to think properly, and the most of the accident happen at that time. Right? So, ethically also, that is a completely nonsense thing to do. No gambling. Right? We see what gambling does to the world. No point in saying that all the gambling softwares are now gone. Right? Not because of the religious principle, because it's concept that. It is because it's not right. Right? You put a lot of money just for the greed in the name of some dice or some algorithm, thinking that you will win a lot of money. That never happens. Right? Maybe one person in crore, but other 99 lakh people, they have just wasted money. So not logical also, not ethical also. And then no illicit sex, no illicit relationship, goes without saying. Right. So these principles are not spiritual principles. They are not just spiritual principles, but these are moral and ethical principles also. And what does it do? It instills the discipline in us that we should live a disciplined life. Because unless we are living a disciplined life, this is the starting point, by the way. This is not the end. Like when we start studying, we learn ABCD. ABCD is not the end, but it is a starting point. Right. So these four regulative principles are the starting point when we go into devotional life, when we go into spiritual life. Right. There would be a lot of other things which will be coming later. But it starts with that. So to able to control senses through regulative principles of freedom. Now, why it's called regulative principle of freedom? Any idea? Why it is called regulative principles of freedom? Any clue? The word says that freedom. It's in the word.
As per the mathematical calculating, like there is no control in it.
No, but why it's called freedom then? One mercy is freedom, right? Let's do what we want. Very mercy. Like there was a song. I don't know, Prabhuji, if you know or not. मैं चाहे ये करूँ मैं चाहे वो करूँ गोविंदा का बड़ा फेवरेट सॉन्ग था इसको याद है? हाँ बट व्हाट इज फ्रीडम व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड फ्रीडम हियर एनी क्लू
You always choice.
we always have a choice God has always given a choice that's one point of view but because when we start following the regulative principle it advances us towards the freedom from material world right that's why it's called regulative principle of freedom it does not bind us while all other thing when we say मेरी मर्जी it actually binds us because हमारी मर्जी यहीं पे रहने की है our मर्जी is to enjoy here only so we'll be bound here to enjoy and do the same thing again and again this whole cycle which we saw will keep on going right so that's why it's called regulative principle of freedom so what Srila Prabhupada says here is one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance to fall. Right? So the concept here is if we try to artificially control all senses, that remember Gandhi ji ke teen bandhan? One does not see, one does not listen, one does not talk. Is it possible in this world to do that? What do you think? Is it possible? If we are living, unless we are living in Himalaya alone, is it possible to do those things? If you are living a normal life, can you stop listening to any bad thing in your life, or in your day, or in your hour also? Right? Or seeing anything bad? Not possible actually. Right? So this that is just in theory, but so artificially, when we try to control by just closing our eyes, ears, nose, and all, like tongue, like I'll keep my mouth shut only, right? It will not work with like majority of us. It will never work for us. So then, what should we do? So what he's saying that unless the senses are engaged in transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance to fall. One time we come out of that or one time we fail to do that, like we have closed my eyes, I will not see, I will not see. And there's something, okay, that's ridiculous. We fail to do that, and that is the every chance that we will fall. We heard the stories of Sobri Muni last time, Vishwamitra, right? And a lot of other stories. So Sobri Muni he was living on the bank of Yamuna, and he wanted to do tapasya alone, like where he will not get any disturbance. Again, artificially trying to control his senses. So he decided that he will go on the bottom of Yamuna and he will do tapasya there. He was a Muni, he can do that. He had the power. So he went into bottom of Yamuna and he did tapasya for thousands of years. It says that around 11,000 years. That was on those ages people live lakhs of years. So that was possible. Right. So he did that tapasya for thousands of years and one time, just one time, right? He was doing the tapasya and he just saw two fishes mating. And then his desires came out. And he came out of tapasya, he went to the king and he said that I want to marry your daughter. The king was smart and he said that if I'll say no, because he was in the water, so his body was completely deformed. Think how our hand becomes after 1 hour of swimming. Right, and think then multiplied by 11,000 years, how his body would be. So his body was completely deformed. So king cannot say no because he's a Muni. He will give Sram. And if he says yes, then his daughters will give him shrap or whatever. Right. So he was smart. What he said that I leave the decision of marriage to my kids only. I don't interfere in their affairs. They said okay, understood. So he goes and asks the daughters. They're like they were like hesitant. So he understood. He came back and he had yogic power. He changed his body to a very young, beautiful man. And when he went again, he had 50 daughters. The king had 50 daughters. Now instead of one, all 50 wanted to marry him, and they all married him. They all married him. He lived another thousands of years enjoying the life with all 50 of them, and he had 100 sons from each of the wives. So all 51, 50,000, 50,000, 51 people living together somewhere. And one day he realized, "Hey, what have I done?" After thousands of years, he realized that what have I done? I wasted my whole tapasya for this thing, which is again, and I'm stuck here in this world. And so that was one example. And then he does the tapasya of Krishna and goes back. Again, he did for thousands of years and goes back. Same with Vishwamitra Muni. He was forcefully trying to control his senses that I will not do anything. But when he heard the sound of Menka's anklet, Payal, his desires came out and then so, yeah, he had association of Menka. So, Srila Prabhupada says that, that's true also that when someone tries to artificially control their senses, it will not work. So, how then it will work? When we apply our same senses in the service of Bhagwan, thinking that He has given us the body, He has given us the intelligence, He has given us all these senses. Why? Not for our own enjoyment and get stuck here in this world, but to utilize it the service of Bhagwan and go back to Godhead rather than being stuck here. Right? So, in the second line, he says that although the person in fully is although the person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensuality. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment and detachment. Right? So, what it says that it looks like he's doing all the same thing which a normal person do. He's not doing anything different. He also is eating. He also is waking up in the morning, going to somewhere, doing work. All those things. They don't live a different life. Devotees don't live different life. They are our us only. Right? They are living the life. Not everyone is grihastha, but grihastha also live the same life which we, and brahmachari also live the similar life which we are. Right? But externally, it looks like they are doing the similar activity. But what changed? They are not doing the same thing. The difference is the mindset. Like someone is also earning money and a devotee is also earning money. The normal person also wants promotion, going up to the ladder in corporate world. The other person also wants the promotion and all those things, high salary and all. But there's a difference in mindset. By seeing outside, you say, oh, both same thing. How you will differentiate? One wants it for his enjoyment. And if I'll get the promotion, if I'll get the money, what I'll do, I'll buy a bigger house, I'll buy a bigger car, I'll do full abroad tours with my family and all those things for his enjoyment. While the devotee, on the other hand, he wants, oh, if I if I get more money, okay, if God is willing, I get more money, I'll be able to I'll be able to serve Lord better. Like say as an example, just as an example, a temple is building near to me. I'll be able to support more for the temple. Right. So that is his mindset. He wants to get promotion or change the company. Right. So that I'll get more time. I want a company that I'll get more time and I'll get to devote more time for my spiritual progress rather than working like a ass and then yeah, 16 hours a shift. Few days back, someone told me in a call, "Oh, don't worry, you call me anytime. I work 16 hours." I said, "I don't." You may work for 16 hours, I don't work for 16 hours. You can work. Right. So, yeah, it looks like they'll be doing same thing, but it's not. Now, from where this particular concept came? It comes from this verse. Yat karosi yadas nasi, yajjuhosi dadasiya, yat yat pasyasi kaunteya tat kurusva vadarpada. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Krishna does not want us to stop doing the things which we do. It does not, bhakti does not mean leave everything and become a sannyasi. No, it does not want, it does not mean that. And Krishna also does not want us to do that. What he wants, do your prescribed duty. If you are a Grihastha, do your duty as Grihastha. Take care of your family, take care of your kids, but having the consciousness of me. In my concept, like if you have kid, you are raising a kid, rather than making them someone who is too materialistic, our duty that is Shastra. That is the Shastra says that our duty is to raise kids who are Krishna conscious, who are Bhakt. Right. It is our duty and it is our responsibility to raise kids like that. If we are not doing that, we are not doing our prescribed duty. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, Krishna does not say stop eating pizza, pasta, or mango, or whatever, right? We eat. But when you make that, just do a bhog to Lord, not sattvic here. The things has to be sattvic. You cannot offer meat and fishes to Krishna, right? Goes without saying. Right? You cannot do that. It has to be sattvic, whatever is as per the Shastra. But you don't have to stop yourself and say, no, I will not eat because it is a materialistic thing. No, you don't have to do that. But you can offer to Lord, and then what you are eating is nothing but prasadam. It's a uh, remnant of Bhagwan. Right. So whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, means whatever charity we do, whatever thing we offer to people, right, we can offer to Krishna. Like someone wants to do, say, I want to feed hungry people. Most common, right? I want to feed hungry people. You can go to the temple. Daily Annadana is happening here in ISKCON Cyberabad also. Daily 500 to 1,000 people are fed every morning, right? Someone wants to feed the poor, you can go and do through the temple. That way, you are doing the same act, but in relationship with Krishna, not independent. Because independent means you are stuck. You are not doing for, you are not doing things for God, but you are doing it for yourself. Your name, your fame, your say mental satisfaction. Right. So whatever you offer a giveaway and whatever austerities you perform, whatever rituals you perform, do that Kunti. This you can keep continue doing as an offering to me. Right. And someone who does that, they can easily control their senses by doing this itself. It will be quite easy to do. Right. So if Krishna wants, further Srila Prabhupada explains that if Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would not have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Means if Krishna wants him to do that, even if I don't want, say a devotee is there and he does not want to uh, yeah, maybe take an example. He does not want to do the cooking, but the situation comes that he has to do the cooking. There is no one else. Even if he does not want to do the cooking because it's Krishna's desire, he'll be doing it. But there is something he wants, like someone likes, oh, I love serving prasadam. But now there are 100 people to serve prasadam. But no one is there to carry those prasadam boxes or the vessels to the side. Even if he wanted to serve the prasadam, because the need is there, he will say, okay, I'll not do the prasadam, I'll do where it is required. Jahan ka wahan. Right. So, he will do, the devotee does what Krishna wants. Right. Even if he does not want. And he will not do even if he wants what Krishna does not want. Like someone wants, leave it. I think sorry. Right. Too right. Right. Any questions? No? Okay. So therefore, to act or not to act is within his control. So simple decision. Now he is not letting his senses drive his mind. Because now the decision is clear, right? I will do what Krishna wants, I will not do what Krishna does not want. It's very simple thing. As an example, you are in a company, you are working, your manager said, do this thing. You will simply do that thing. You don't have to think much about it. And next time when it is asked, okay, you asked me to do that, I have completed it, this is it. Rather than thinking I'll become proactive, I'll take this project also, that project also, even if my manager does not want, I will do this thing and that thing. And then what happened? Most of the cases, what happened, what I have seen in life, why did you do that? You have not completed your task and you're doing all the unnecessary thing rather than focusing on what is given to you. Huh? And that will be told to you at the time of one-to-one during appraisal. It will not be told to you for the whole year. But when you are given the low ranking, then only you'll be reminded. See, you did that thing that time. And that's why now you are getting this ranking. So, the simple thing is do whatever is told. It's very easy to become a follower. Right? Because you don't have to think much about it. You don't have to be responsible or accountable for the repercussions of that decision, what you are doing. So, Krishna said that I am doing it. Right? If he asks, why did you do that? You told me to do that. So I'm doing it. Simple, right? So that's what Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, act or not to act is within his control because now he can control what I have to do, what I don't have to do. Because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of being attached to the sensual platform. So the word come here, right? Prasadam Madhigachati. And whatever comes in to me, it is nothing but prasadam, the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam is called mercy of the Lord. So now there is a lot of talk about what Krishna wants. Any question? How do we know that what Krishna wants? How do how do you know that this is the thing which Krishna wants? Because Krishna तो वो आके बोलने वाले नहीं है कि ये करो वो करो. Then how this works? How do you know that what Krishna wants, what he does not want?
The path of dharma.
What is the path of dharma?
What is right?
Oh, that's the question. What is right? How would you know what is right and wrong? Something which may be right for you may be wrong for others. Right? You are saying that, say, as an example, every Mahashivratri, before it comes, the propaganda starts. If you, there are so many hungry people, lakhs of hungry people in India, why they are wasting milk on the Shivling? It comes right. This is from last 10 years, every Shivratri it comes, or in Holi, wasting water or any other thing. Right. So, whatever you think is right for you may be wrong for others. Then how do you know what is right or wrong? It's all subjective, right? Then what is the way to know? Even in the scripture, also you read two, three different scripture, you'll find at one place it is said that this is right, at another place this is said that it is right. Like if you read Nyaya Shastra and the Niti Shastra, these both will tell you two different for the same scenario. Then how do you know what is right and wrong? Any other answer? The path of dharma and right. It is correct.
Considering the factors that are there, whatever decision it does not necessarily harm someone's identity.
So, Arjuna was in the battlefield. He was going to kill people, which is going to harm them directly. हाथ क्या मतलब सीधे पहुंचा ही रहते हैं, ठीक है. And the situation was if he fights, then it will be causing a lot of bloodshed. It is right or wrong?
Right?
Why?
Because if they have worked,
One person versus million person.
it's fine. And
Why? Why it is fine?
for a very simple reason that their demands were very basic. 5 गांव मान लेते हैं,
Okay.
right? That was their demand. They did not ask for half of the kingdom, which is fair. Even if they would have asked for half of it, it would have been fair.
Okay.
But even a basic need of for them to just be kings was not met. And that is why this whole thing happened.
So you are saying that if you want a property, you can kill people.
No, it is their right. They are
Okay.
not begging for something.
That means that if someone has क्या बोलते हैं उसको, अधिग्रहण को, or do the कब्जा, someone has actually captured my property, I can kill them. Because it's my right, right?
It's a one.
That's also the.
No,
Can I kill them or not?
It's a fair fight.
Okay. So we'll have to do gunfight then. Western style. So dharma is way complex than that actually. It's not that simplistic. You cannot put it into a very simple platform. So one simple definition of dharma is why Arjun should fight. You are right that it was their right, it was path of dharma, but then what is dharma? You said the right thing. Then what is the right thing? Where it will end? When you go to root cause analysis one after one, where it ends that dharma to sachat bhagavad pranita. Means dharma is what the Lord has said, what the God has said. That is dharma. Here, why Arjun has to fight? Because Krishna asked him to fight. There is no other reason required. Right? Absolutely no reason is required. If Krishna asked Arjuna to go jump into the well, he has to do that. If he not do, actually that becomes sin. Like, as an example, when he asked Yudhishthira to Narova to Jarova to do that Ashwatthama Mara again, he hesitated. He actually incurred sin. Because he hesitated, his chariot, what Bharat said, his chariot was actually before that it was flying. But because the moment he hesitated, it went off. Not because he told lie, because he hesitated to follow order of the Bhagwan. Not because he told lie. If God says you tell lie, you have to tell lie. Because it's God's instruction. There cannot be anything bigger than God's instruction. Whether whether it fits in our morality or not. Our morality is our codes of conduct, not God's codes of conduct. Right? His words is the supreme. We have to understand that. So because he asked Arjuna to fight, so he has to fight. So what is dharma? What is right thing? What God asked us to do. And how do we know what God wants us to do? By following these three things. Guru, Sadhu, Sastra. First thing is Sastra. Like the sequence, like first thing like how would we know what is the right thing? By reading our own scripture. Like Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam. When we know what is written there, when we understand the deep concepts of it, we will actually know what is the right thing to do. But again, not everything we can understand. There are Bhagavad Gita, everyone has Bhagavad Gita, almost. Almost. But how many of us have actually understood it completely or following it completely? We don't do that because we are not in association of it and we don't have the discipline to do that regularly. And a lot of other factors. So, and a lot of lessons we cannot understand also. A lot of time we open Bhagavad Gita and then, "Arey yaar, not able to understand," and then we close it. In that condition, what? Then we go to the Guru, who can teach us what is the way to understand this Shastra, what is the way to read the Bhagavad Gita and understand and apply in our life. And also Sadhu, how not everything a Guru can also tell. Right? Sometimes there are conditions your Guru also may be hesitant to ask, he may be not able to answer it, or he is not even available. In that precedent, in that situation, what you should follow? There are precedents you can see, like for the previous senior Vaishnava, for the senior um, the renowned sadhus, what they did in those kind of conditions. So when we follow the Shastra, Guru, and Sadhu, right, that will tell us what Krishna wants. Krishna is not coming to us directly to say anything. We are not that qualified that Krishna will come in our dream and tell you do that. We are not even near to that qualification. Forget about being qualified. Right. So the Krishna Bhagwan reaches to us through medium of these Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That's why these things are very important, and that's how we will come to know what Krishna wants us to do. Right. Any question? Any, any question for you? Anything? Is it clear? Okay. So we're discussing about the prasadam, prasadam adhigachati. So prasadam means mercy of the Lord. Yes. We say now, Ramti, be content in your life. Means because what happens like God sees the bigger picture. We think we see only the short distance or short term thing. Like if this will not happen to me, if I will not get promotion, what will happen like this and that, this whatever, right? But if we are actually not getting promotion, it is not just your manager's will. It is happening for our own good because he sees there what is the best thing for us. So Bhagwan says that further in this, after 2-3 slokas, he says that he is someone who is well wisher of every living being. He knows what is best for us. Right. So whatever comes in our life is actually prasadam. It's a mercy of the Lord, and we have to accept as it is. We have to understand that He is doing whatever is good for us only. Right. We may not be able to see the thing yet. We may not be able to understand why it is happening now. But when you see, when you look back after 5 years, 10 years, and then you will understand that yeah, that was the right thing at that point of time. Right. That time it will be easy to understand. So that's the secret of being content and being satisfied. That whatever comes to us, it is nothing but the mercy of the Lord. It's a prasadam, accept that as it is. We don't say no to prasadam, right? So yeah. Now in next verse, repeat after. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिर्स्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिर्स्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिर्स्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते. Anyone from what I say? प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिर्स्योपजायते यासु प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिर्स्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते. So just as a basic few words of Srila. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold misery of material existence exists no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is so well established. Right. So in last verse also it ended with prasadam abhigachati. Now again this verse start with prasadam. So Krishna is describing further in the same continuation. Now, for the one who is satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold misery of material existence exists no longer. Means someone who is following the path of bhakti, the marga of bhakti, they will be satisfied, they will be content. Why? Because they know that it's a Krishna prasad, right? It's a prasadam, and whatever he is doing, it is best for me. So they will not think much, and that's how, in that consciousness, they will not be stuck into the threefold misery. Threefold miseries are three types of miseries which happens to anyone. One is Adidevic, which is like act of God, bhukam, earthquake, or tornado, these kind of things. Right? These are someone which is not in humans' control. The act of God, what we call it. Right? That is Adidevic. Then Adhyatmic, something which comes from our own body, our own mind. Say depression, anxiety, that comes from within. Right? So those are something which originates from within us. That is uh, adhyatmic miseries. And then there is a adi bhautik. Adi bhautik means the miseries or the kast which are given by some other creature apart from us, like from wife, kids, or mother-in-law, or whatever, right? Or from mosquito, right? Anything apart from us, when it is given, then that is aditavi, adhyoti, right? So, someone who is satisfied in the Krishna consciousness, they will be free from this. It's not like it will not come to them. Whenever, if we are in this material world, the miseries will keep on coming. There is no way out. Right. So, but being a devotee does not mean you are out of miseries. You will be getting miseries, maybe more, maybe less. Right. But then the important thing in this adverse or distressing situation is not why you get it, but how you respond to it. Right. Two people driving car, say, or three people driving car in the same row. One applies brake, the first one applies brake, car hits it. Then the first two people started fighting. All three cars hit each other. First two people started fighting. They broke each other's head. Third person was just like, okay, chalo, ho gaya, I'll take insurance and I'll do it. Who is not harmed here? Right. So it is on us in those conditions how we respond to it. Because the cost will come for sure. The miseries will keep on coming. But how we respond to it, that changes the whole thing, the whole game. So someone who is fully satisfied in Krishna consciousness, for them this threefold misery do not matter. It will come, but they'll be content, or they'll be somehow, they will not be much affected because of it. And who is in that satisfied consciousness, their intelligence is well established. That's what it says then. Now let's understand a little more about this. So everyone in this world wants to become satisfied, right? Why we want to be satisfied? Because satisfaction gives us happiness. And whatever we do with the world, whatever, take anything for example, that is for our happiness only. Whether it's eating, raising kids, going to office, we will not feel immediately happy going to office. But yeah, when the at the on 31st when the message comes, that happiness, we go to office only for that happiness only, for the whole month. Right. So whatever act we do in our life, it is only to get happy, to be happy. Right. So everyone is looking for the happiness, but the problem is like we don't know where to get that happiness. Like I just gave the example, we get happy when the message comes on 31st or 30th, right? That your salary is credited. But for all other days of the month, अरे यार कब आएगा 31st? We think that. So even though that thing makes us happy, we are only stuck with that point of time when the salary comes. Other time we are not really happy because we all want to work for happiness, we all want to go for happiness, but we don't know where the real happiness is. Right. So how do we know where the real happiness is? Or what is the key to happiness? What do you think? What is the key to happiness? How do we get happy?
Serving.
Serving Lord, quite theoretical. But why? What proof? Any?
Fulfillment of desires.
Okay.
Whatever goals or desires you have, they get fulfilled.
Okay, let's discuss that more. Is fulfillment of desires and goal makes us happy? So, someone had a desire that I'll get a promotion this year. 50-50 chances. You may get, you may not. Does having desires makes you happy? No, right. Let's say you got promotion also. You'll be happy forever. What's the guarantee? How long will you be happy when you get promotion? For how long you become happy?
See, happiness and sadness are transient.
Mm-hmm.
They are not forever.
Exactly.
So you are
Yes.
happy when something
For
is-
certain amount of time.
for certain amount.
But again, that does not guarantee us permanent happiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The next
Right.
goal-
Again, you go to next goal, and again you have next desire, and it keeps on going and going and going and going because desires never get fulfilled. Our desires never stop, and it never gets fulfilled because that's a cycle which keeps on going. If one gets filled, next will come. If that gets filled, next will come. Right? It never stops. So that means you are never going to get happy permanently because your happiness shifted to this is Lord Krishna says that Dukhalya was Aswatam. This world is a Saswat. Because this world is a Saswat, our desires is also Aswat. Aswat is not permanent, right? Temporary. Right. Because our desires are temporary, it keeps on changing, our goals keeps on changing, our happiness also keeps on changing. So because that you will make you here only for all the time. It is fine. It is fine that you got promotion one time, you got promotion second time also, and then you worked really, really hard and you did not get promotion. Is it fine? That time you will feel, why did I do that? Right. It will not happen every time, right? What we want. Exactly. It will not happen every time what we want. Like our kid, he is doing all the things which we want, and then he stops doing that. When the children become teenagers, they stop listening to us. And then we feel, अरे क्यों पैदा किया था यार ये तो उससे बढ़िया तो. That's all we think. So maybe before also a lot of time happens.
It is part of
Yeah. So because we have been accustomed to think like that. We have
darkness, right?
Okay.
It is lightness all throughout. You stop appreciating light.
Okay.
That is appreciate.
But don't you want a situation where there will not be any power cut? No. But wait, what if it is available? What if it is there? Great, right? And would you like to go to that place? So why not go to such place where there is no misery? Why are we accustomed to think that this is part of life, let's live like that? Like as an example, oh, ये तो India है, ठीक है? Their corruption is part of life, let's be like that. It is like we are accustomed like that. If you will not give money to the government official, your work will not be done. So let's get that done. From childhood, we are seeing that, and that happens. So we are accustomed like that. Same way we are accustomed in life also like that. Unless there is darkness, there is no light. But you know there is a place called where there is no kuntha, there is no kast. It's called Vaikuntha. Right. Same way, like you want to go to a place, or every one of us want to be in a place where there is no power cut. Whatever AC we put, there will no be extra bill for us, and everyone will shift to that place. Or a country where tomorrow government announces, okay, आज मन की बात में ये डिसाइड किया जाता है, no income tax for everyone. Not a single person will run away from Bharat. Rather, millions of people will come back. Right? Because everyone wants to go for such a place where happiness is permanent. Even though we know that it's part of life, and it is part of life because it's a bhautik figure, because it's a material world. In material world, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, that will happen. What our Shastra says that happiness is like a, you see the sandwich, there's a layer of butter in between. Happiness is like that layer of butter. Before that you have sadness, after that you have sadness. That layer of butter, the small thin layer of butter is the happiness. That's all you get. You don't get permanent happiness. Same example in office. For whole month we work, last day we get salary, we feel happy, 1-2 days we'll be happy, and then again for 30 days, 28 days we'll be like, "Arey yaar, itna kaam." Monday morning blues, and all those things will keep on coming. Right? So that's how happiness is. But don't we want to go to such place where there is no misery? Why not target for that? If there is such place, and there is such place, that's what our Shastra says, that's what Krishna says, that's what the Acharya says that. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, everyone says that. Then why not target for that place? Why to just become accustomed to, okay, that is life, there will be sadness. Why? If there is a place where there cannot be any sadness, why not go for that? Why not target for that? Otherwise, anyway, we are stuck here. What's harm in trying? Right? So, what is the key for happiness? Like someone gets big bungalow, even they will not be happy. Or maybe, I don't know how many cars, 5 cars or 20 cars, good wife, good partner. They will also not be happy all the time. And take as an example, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has 37,000 crore. He had everything. We cannot even dream of, सोच भी नहीं सकते कितना नंबर होगा. 37,000 crore. He had a really bad death. He was not happy, he was depressed. And even though we see all the rosy picture, he had all the bank balances and this and that. Take example of Ambani's son. He worked hard to reduce his weight from 100 some kilo to some, I don't know, 80, 90 kgs. Right. And then again, because of medical condition, it goes back. He had all the things, whatever he wants, it's available on a snap for him. Right. Anything. Not happy. So, you can have hundreds of fans on social media. When you actually need, how many of them will come? Right. So, just being accustomed that this is part of life, yeah, that will not solve the problem. That is the way to get stuck here. Right. Like I thinking that okay, this is how the country works. That's how the politics is. If people will start thinking like that, there will never be any improvement. Rather, it will only get worse. Think of that situation where no one comes, like government corruption after corruption is happening, and then there are yaar yahi to life hai. Every next government will do more corruption than the previous government, and what will happen to the country? So in between, sometimes someone has to come which will disrupt the system. So just thinking that this is the way of life, if you not disrupt it, this will be way of life. Because whether you like it or not, this is going to happen. You will get happiness and sadness in this life. Right? But if there is a place where you will never get sadness, why shouldn't we target for that? Why shouldn't we go for that? Same way, I will want to go to the place where there is no poverty, or where there is no income tax, or guaranteed uh, guaranteed free hospital expenses and free education. We all want country like that, right? We all want Bharat to become universal health care, free education, quality, not the free education which we get right now. Free quality education. We all want. But then we think that okay, government school are always like that. It has to be like that. Then it will never improve. There has to be someone who disrupts it, and there has to be a way to disrupt it. Right? So, yeah. So what Srila Prabhupada said that um, having all those things also, you feel the hollowness in your mind. Right? If everyone is satisfied having all those things, then why people have to go to God? It's not a norm, right? You are not bound to go to for. You are not bound to go and follow spirituality. You because people come to spirituality because then they start feeling there is somewhere there is some dissatisfaction, there is some hollowness, right? I want to fulfill that. But we being a spirit, soul, right? Soul is spiritual energy. If we try to fulfill those things, those hollowness with materialistic thing, that is incompatible. Like you are trying to mix oil and water together. It is not going to happen. So how it will happen when you these are incompatible, right? So how this is going to happen? When your soul will only be satisfied when you are doing the spiritual act, when you are doing the spiritual things, then only it will actually become satisfied. Then it will be compatible, and that's why people after after searching a lot of time here and there, then they understand and they're like, okay, I want to now fulfill my hollowness. I want to fill that desire. Right? Because there is something which is missing. That missing piece they search for it. And that's where they come to birth. Right? So Srila Prabhupada said that only when you come to Krishna consciousness, this hollowness will be gone. Without that, it will not be fulfilled. Why? Because otherwise, it will be temporary. It will never be permanent. Right? Now, what is the proof? You may ask. What is the proof? Probably you are saying that all those things, but what's the proof? How can you say that it will not be fulfilled, or only Krishna consciousness can only fill that those things? So the proof is this. Anyone knows who's this? And Narad Muni, everyone recognizes. Who's the other person? No, he is not Parikshit Maharaj. He is not Maharaj. He is having Dadi. Think who are all the disciples of Narad Muni. Yes, it is very clear. So Maharishi Ved Vyas, when he wrote all these Puranas, Itihas, scriptures, after writing all these scriptures, he was not happy. He was still feeling hollowness in his heart. Someone who wrote about all the Devi Devatas, who wrote about all the Karma Kanda, who wrote about Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, this yoga, that yoga, everything, who wrote about every possible inquiry in the world, he himself was not happy after writing, after giving the Gyan to everyone in the world. Right. And he was feeling like there is something missing. He was not able to quietly point out what it is. Then he remembered his guru who came. Narad Muni was his guru. He came. And then he told that this is what my situation is. So Narad Muni chastises him. He scolded him. What have you done? He was like, what have I done? Right? He told that, yes, you have written everything. You have written whatever knowledge you had, you got all documented. But then, why it is missing? Because you have not glorified God. You have mentioned all the rituals, you have mentioned all the karma kand, you have mentioned if you do this vrat, that will happen. If you do this puja, that will happen. If you do this activity, that pious act, you will get this thing. Right? You have mentioned all the things in all your scripture. But what you have not mentioned about God, about Bhagwan, about Krishna. And because that is missing from your scriptures, it was not like it was completely missing, but it was not glorified. It was more on the ritualistic and karma-kandic point of view. Right? All majority of our Shastra, 70%, more than 70-80% is nothing but rituals. Right? Do this, you will get that. Like that. Right? And bhakti is not that. Bhakti is selfless service. When you serve your child, you don't expect anything in return. Right? That is selfless love. Bhakti is love. Right? You can love only when you are being selfless, not with selfish motive. And karma kanda means you want something for you. Correct. So then Narad Muni told him, you still have that missing because you have not glorified Bhagwan and his devotee Dinam. So now you have to work on that. And then the last thing which Srila Vyasadeva wrote was Srimad Bhagavatam. Right. Where he had only glorified Krishna, Bhagwan ke all avatar and his all devotees. And then only he felt satisfied. And that is the proof. It's from the scriptures. It is not just something which we are making it up here. Right. So he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam in 12 cantos. Again, this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right. So I put this picture because this is Bhadra month. It's coming. It's not this month. But Bhadra month is coming. It is Adhik Mas. And if any of us don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, that's a great opportunity to get there. It's not one book, it's a set of 18 books. Right. But Bhagavatam is incarnation of Bhagwan. It is not a simple literature, it is not just a book. What our Shastra, even Srimad Bhagavatam tells that Bhagavatam itself is Bhagwan. That the first canto is the head of Bhagwan, that there are other canto limbs, Udar, legs, all those things. Right. Eyes, second, third canto is eyes of God. Right. It itself is God. So there are a lot of glories. This is not a glory of Srimad Bhagavatam, but yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered an Amal Mahapuran. Something Amal means something which does not have any impurity. Because it does not have kanda in it. It has only pure devotion, pure love for God. So any of us who don't have Bhagavatam, this is a great opportunity to get that. And it will be available at better price also. Generally like English volume, it is costing like 10,000 for those 18 books. It will be available maybe 8,000 or something, like 25% discount. So if we don't have any one of us, if we have, we can donate it also. Right? Bhagavatam donation is considered the topmost Shastra Dana. Even better than Srimad Bhagavad Gita for that, for everyone's knowledge. Right? If we don't have, first we should have it for ourselves, then for others. Right? So that is a proof that even from scripture it is said about this. Now we discussed that point that why we don't get satisfied because it's a mismatch. If we try to fulfill our spiritual desires with the materialistic thing, it is a mismatch. Spirit and matter, they don't mix up. Right? Your materialistic desire or your matter can be fulfilled by materialistic thing, but your soul will not be satisfied. Your body can be, but not your soul, because that's a spirit. So Prasanna says so. When Bhagwan says here, Prasanna says so. Right? That once intelligence is soul well established, it will only happen by this way. There is no other. So the only way is like to connect the soul to Krishna. Doing whatever we do in our life, we have to connect with Krishna and then do. Like even if we are doing the job, our intention should be I'm doing the job so that I can serve the Lord better. Like, at least some part of my job I will try to take out some effort, some money which I can use for the service of Krishna. Like in whatever way we want. The same thing everyone wants to do, but the intentions change. And Bhagwan is Bhavgrani, who sees our intention, not the things we offer. What can we offer to Lakshmipati then? He is Lakshmipati. What do you think we can offer to him? Everything is his only. So the only thing we can offer is our bhakti, our intention, nothing else. So now what happened? Now here Krishna told that what happens to the people who are connected to the Krishna. They will not be affected by the threefold miseries of life, and they'll be happy in that mode. They'll be content and satisfied. Now, what happens to those people who are not connected with Krishna? So that is explained here in this verse. Shall we take this? 10 minutes? Is it okay? Okay. Naste buddhir yuktasya नास्ति बुद्धिर अयुक्तस्य न चा युक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम् नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावः न चाभावयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम् नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य न चाभावयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम् नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य न चाभावयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम्. So translation by institute by this is so single part. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Right. So not we are saying that. Krishna is saying that. Let's understand. Here the word comes ayuktasya. Ayuktasya means nasti buddhir ayuktasya. Ayuktasya means not connected. Not yukt. Yukt means correct. Judana. Right. So ayuktasya not connected. Someone who is not connected with Krishna, what will happen to them? So the fourth thing is mentioned here. Na asti buddhir means they will not be having the transcendental intelligence, not material intelligence, transcendental intelligence. Right? Na ayuktasya bhavana means, and they will not have the steady mind. Their focus will not be one pointed. It will always be here and there. It will all scattered here and there. Na chabhavata santir. Right? That means there will not be any peace. There will not be peaceful and enter asantasya kuta sukha. If they are not peaceful, how can they be happy? Right? So these four things will happen. Let's say what Srila Prabhupada says then. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. There is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the fifth chapter, 5.29, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, and that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestation, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. The one we were discussing earlier. So from where this comes, unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. It comes from the sloka, which is called the sloka of peace formula, 5.29. Bhoktaram yajya tapasam sarvalokam maheswaram sudram sarvotana gyatva mam santi prachati. Right. In full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material misery. So this is what Krishna is saying. That someone who understands that I am the ultimate beneficiary of whatever anyone does. Whatever we do, we think that we get happiness. It's actually not us. We think that we'll get happiness. But the happiness actually gets transferred into Krishna. He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the one who enjoys everything. Right? And all the austerities also. He is the one, Sarvalok Maheswaram, that master of everyone in the world. Whether it's a Devi Devatas, whether it's a human, whether it's all kind of creatures, all kinds of living entities. He is the master of everyone. Right? Now when you see that he is the only enjoyer, he is the master of everyone, then you will start feeling that, oh, what kind of dictator he is. And it feels like that. Right? But the third thing comes. Sukhadam Sarvabhutanam. He is the ultimate well-wisher of every being, every living being. He knows what is good for everyone, and he gives the results accordingly. Right. So even though those words look like it is like kind of a dictator, but whatever God does, it is only what is in benefit of any living entity. What is good for them, what is good for us. He does only those things. We may understand, we may not understand, because we see only the small picture. What is happening? Like if you are stopped getting entering into a gate, you'll feel like, why I'm not allowed, why this and that, create a rascal. But someone who is seeing on the top is saying that if you'll open the gate, there are bees, they will bite us. We may not understand standing behind the gate, but someone on the top can see that. So like that, God sees the whole picture, our past, future, and present, everything, and He understands what is good for us. That's why He does everything which is good for our soul. And when I say good, does not mean material good. Getting more car, more bungalow. I will not say more wife. Not allowed in our religion, at least. Right. I don't want anyone to go to jail. So, but yeah, more enjoyment. It does not mean that, because He also wants us to come back to the place where there is no misery, Vaikuntha. He wants all of us to come back there. So what is our good for us to go back to Golok Vrindavan, go back to Vaikuntha. That is what he wants. And that's how we act. Every single thing in our life, what happens, right? If you see in past, you yourself you realize these all are leading us to some point where you can get into path of. It's not easy to get on that path. There are 50, 60,000 people just living in Nalagandla itself. How many of them attend Bhagavad Gita classes? Hardly hundreds. Now, this is not the only class. There are 7, 8 other classes which is running here. Hardly 100 people go to regularly to the class. It's not easy. Even though people know every week the message is published, it's not easy to get a mindset to come to the class. Right? Because the material thing, it binds us. The material things, the material desires binds us. And because it keeps binding, it's not easy to get liberated also. Right? So that's what God says that because one takes shelter of, He will take care of the rest. Right. So that is a sloka peace formula which Srila Prabhupada is also trying to say. That to get to the point of peace, one has to understand these three things. That Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer, not us. We are just Nimitt Matra. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, if you would have read or seen somewhere, he told to Arjuna, कि whatever the fight you are going to do, you whether you do or not, they are anyway died. They are anyway dead. They are already died. You are just Nimitt Matra, who is just a medium to do this fight. Whether you do or not, it will happen. It has already actually happened. Right? So be the medium and be glorified. So he is the ultimate enjoyer.
Sure.
Yeah, he is eating. Words after word is going in his mouth and getting crushed between his teeth. It is a very gory picture which is mentioned there, his Visru. It is such a scary picture that Arjuna gets so scared, he was like trembling and he said, Bhagwan, apne room mein aa jaiye. I'm feeling very fearful. I'm feeling like so scared with that. So, yeah. So there is no possibility of peace without Krishna consciousness. If one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be final goal for the mind. We're talking about the goal. Disturbance is due to the want of an ultimate goal. Right? Ultimate goal. What is ultimate goal? Our goal is not ultimate, right? Promotion, next promotion, that promotion, next job, new job, more money, more money. That's not ultimate because it never ends. But then what is ultimate? Go to such place where you don't even have to worry about promotion. Think you have been given a job where you're like, okay, whatever money you want, blank check every end of the month. That's what you get. Put any money, right? And that is yours. Who would not do such job? You don't have to worry about promotion or money or anything. Everyone will go for that, right? If there is some such kind of thing, why would not we go for that? It is just foolish thing. And when half of the problem in this world is for the money only, right? You get everything by money. You don't have money, you don't get anything. Right? If you don't have to worry about money, then that's the best thing. Half of your problem is anyway solved. And the second half is our expectations, our desires. Things should happen as per my desire. Right? So when we start thinking about that, okay, I'm not worried about my desires. I'm only worried about Krishna's desire. At that point of time, will not be dissatisfied. The dissatisfaction from our heart will be gone automatically. Like when you do things for your kid, okay, I will do this, I will buy this thing for my kid and he'll be satisfied. I'm happy. He's happy, I'm happy. Right? When we think about that, we don't think of our happiness. So when we start thinking about Krishna's happiness, what makes him happy, we'll stop thinking about our happiness, we'll be satisfied, and there will be peace. Because we accept the thing, what comes to us, without much worrying about that. So disturbance is due to the want of an ultimate goal. Right? And because we don't have the ultimate goal, our goal, asaswatam, it keeps on changing. It is asaswatam, like this picture here. Right, long term, short term. Our goals are also not fixed, and that's why our mind is also not fixed. It keeps on changing, our desires are not changing. But if we have the one goal, okay, my goal is to get out of this world. Right. If I have this ultimate goal, my ultimate goal is to get out of this world. I will actually work on that goal. Rather than having 10 different goals or changing goals. If you have one goal, that is one point, that is Sthit one pointed focus, doing one thing. If someone's focus is to do IIT only, why they would worry about the UPSC paper or NEET or any other thing? They are focused that I have to be focused to crack IIT. They'll not be worried about any other thing. But if someone is there, okay, let me try. Or, as an example, if someone is company, they are out of job, and they're like, okay, now let me try to learn DevOps. Now let me try to learn AI also, some data science also, this and that. I have like, I will learn everything जहाँ भी job लग जाए. Right? Probably उनकी job कहीं नहीं लगेगी until they are focused on one thing to do that. So that's why you're master of any expertise, right? Rather than having jack of all trades, we are master of one. So if we have a goal in our front, will not be disturbed. Just as an example, like when people will get disturbed, you take the goal from their front. They have some goal, you say, no, that's not the goal. What is the goal? I don't know. They'll get disturbed immediately. Like as an example, again, further example, that someone you're going in a train and there is one person sitting next to you, right? And you ask, "अच्छा आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं?" Said, I don't know. Said, what? But you have taken a ticket from somewhere. No, I have not. But you came out of your house going somewhere. I don't know. I just came out to go somewhere. You actually will become disturbed along with that person. Because this guy does not even know where he is going, what he is doing in his life. Same way we see in our relative or someone, our brother, sister, whoever, who are just doing things and they don't have any goal in their life. They're like, "ये क्या कर रहे हो अपनी life के साथ?" Have you seen such people in your life? Huh? Maybe your cousin or someone who is just enjoying life. सो के उठेंगे 12 बजे, उठेंगे खाएंगे पिएंगे सोएंगे, then again they will sleep. Right? Watch movies, sleep, and do all those things. And always we get disturbed. What are they doing with their life? Because they don't have a goal. Right? So, in absence of the ultimate goal, also is a disturbance. When we don't have ultimate goal to do things, this causes disturbance. And that's what Srila Prabhupada says that is. So, yeah. This word is asaswatam, the goalpost keeps on changing. It will cause the disturbance. Now, when our mind will not be disturbed, When do you think our mind will not be disturbed? आपके आपका वन आंसर फॉर ऑल है मुकुंद वाला जॉब आपने ले लिया है he had this one answer for all. That is correct. But in the in today's context, जो हम discuss कर रहे हैं, what is when our mind will not be disturbed. It is disturbed when we don't have an ultimate goal. When it will not be disturbed. Exactly. When we have sthit pragya, when we have an ultimate goal, that I have to go out of this world. This is my ultimate goal, and whatever comes, I will work on that goal. That will not actually be disturbed because our goal is focused. Other things are just side things. Other things are secondary for us. It's not like I have to go to I have to cross the river and go to the other side of the shore, and then some current comes. Okay, chalo, भावनाओं के साथ बह गए. If I have to cross the river, I will whatever current comes, my boat will always change the direction. It will align towards crossing the river, right? However strong the current is, in our capacity, whatever we can fight and drive towards the goal. So when we have one goal, we'll work towards that. So these things will keep on coming. The disturbance, the sadness, the unhappiness, these things will keep on coming. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop sense object. You can only stop contemplating about the sense object, thinking much about it. So when the goal is ultimate is permanent, then only our mind will not be disturbed. And what is permanent in this world? How can a goal be permanent? Any material goal cannot be permanent because the matter is not permanent. Right? Your job is not permanent, your family is not permanent, your home is not permanent, even the country is not permanent. Forget, the world is not permanent. Maybe Independence Day kind of we will happen. And maybe that nuclear bomb will not detonate the asteroid and the world will be gone. Right? Nothing is permanent in this world. So how can our goal be permanent? So only two things in this world is permanent. One is soul and another thing is God. And the relationship between them. That is Sanatana Dharma. Right. So your goal to be permanent has to be associated with something which is permanent. Right. When a goal of the soul is associated with permanent thing, that is Krishna or serving Krishna, then that will become ultimate because that is fixed. It is always permanent. It will not be disturbed or deviated, even if the world ends. So whatever happens, that will never be changed. And so, because you have permanent goal, you have ultimate goal. That is your peace formula. That is your permanent peace and happiness. That is the only way that our mind will not be disturbed. Now, another question comes. Then, how to get connection? How to get into the connection with Krishna? इसका आंसर तो आपको पता है. ABCD, right? So, ABCD means there are 5 formula. How you can actually progress in the path of bhakti, how you can connect yourself with Krishna, right? More than what we have. A is association. Association means if you are always associating yourself with materialistic people, your mindset will also be materialistic, right? But if you, for some time at least, you are associating with the people who are doing Krishna Katha, who are doing satsang, who are doing chanting, right? All those spiritual activities. Your mind will not go into material things, at least for those point of time, right? So that is A, association. Because in association, we have the kahavat खरबूजे को देख के खरबूजा रंग बदलता है. Have you ever heard? Means when watermelon is kharbuja is muskmelon. When a raw muskmelon is there and when ripened muskmelon is there, both kept together, the raw one also become ripened. Right? Scientifically, it highly will happen, but the same thing happens with us also. When you are in association of bhakti, you automatically develop the love for doing spiritual activity. The urge of doing kirtan, the urge of enjoying the kirtan, reading the shastra, listening to satsang or Bhagavad Gita, reading about it, it will automatically come. You don't have to work specifically for that. That is association. B is books, right? In the same line, books. When you start reading about our scriptures, not the books from Dan Brown or Jeffrey Archer, these two were my favorite authors, right? Once upon a time. Right. So not those books, but when you start reading about Krishna in the books from our scripture, you automatically start loving God. Why? How can you love someone you don't know about? You cannot love someone you don't know about. Right. So when you start reading about them, you start enjoying their life, their stories, what they used to do. And anytime you hear, you see the picture, oh Krishna, Are bhai, yaar Krishna ye kar raha hai. And automatically your mind will go into that. You see that picture, and then you'll think, oh, Krishna is playing with his cowherd boys, with Gopas. So he used to enjoy so much. Right. The mind will go and think about it. So when you know about someone, you'll start loving them. C is the chanting. Right. At least some time of your day, it's between you and Krishna. Your soul has a relationship with Krishna. Right. How you can establish it? It's a personal relationship. It's not a community relationship. Every soul has a personal relationship with Krishna. Like we have personal relationship with our wife. The relationship changes when we are in a bigger among the people versus when we are alone. Right? So when you have the private relationship with Krishna, you have to privately connect with Krishna. And the way to connect with Krishna is to do the chanting, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Right? How to do chanting? Yes, by doing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is Maha Mantra given by Bhagwan himself. And Bhagwan came as an avatar as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? He is Bhagwan. He is the Krishna avatar. Right? You not only ISKCON, you go to Vrindavan, you go to any Vaishnava Acharya and ask who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll get this same answer. He is incarnation of Sri Krishna, who came in Kali Yuga to spread the holy name, to spread the glories of transcendental glory name and the Sankirtan movement. He established the Sankirtan movement and glorified it. Right? Because in Kali Yuga, that is Yuga Dharma. We cannot do tapasya for 1,000 years. We cannot do yajna because we don't even know mantras. And we cannot even chant mantras properly. Deity worship is the Yuga Dharma of Dwapar Yuga. Even that we don't do very properly. We do, but yes, not very properly. So, what is the easiest way in Kali Yuga? So, because in Kali Yuga, everything is reduced. Our age is reduced, our health is reduced, our intelligence is reduced, our strength is reduced. So, and we are less intelligent than the people of that time. So, one simple thing was given to us to do the chanting. Right? By chanting, we can connect ourselves to Krishna. So, at least some point of time of the day, one round takes 7 to 8 minutes hardly. It's not difficult to take out 7 to 8 minutes. Right? One round, just one round, take mala and do the chanting. It's between you and Krishna, no one else. That's where you can actually develop relationship with Krishna. Like the permanent relationship. It is permanent. We don't remember it, but that is the way. So C is chanting. D is diet. Diet, what we eat. It's not about healthy and unhealthy here. It's about the karmic reaction which comes with the diet. If we eat something which has a lot of karmic reaction, which is himsa, right? We are bound to get some portion of it. So if someone is eating meat, they are bound to get the result of that. If someone is eating intoxication, like they're drinking alcohol or drugs or doing all those things, they're bound to get the result of it. Right? So same way Krishna says that paspam uh, patram puspam phalam toyam, right? Like whatever you offer to me, and then you eat that. So when we eat something, we can eat क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Pizza, pasta, and whatever, right? We can eat those things. Offer to Lord, sattvic, no onion, no garlic, right? Offer to Lord and then eat it. It's not you are stopping your sense to enjoy those things. But the karmic reaction you are offering, Bhagavan says that no, offer whatever you are doing to me, and then you take. When he says that offer the result to me, it does not mean that you don't do anything. It means that you do things, but you offer the result to me. That you are doing it for my pleasure, not for your own pleasure only. Why I said only? Because that's a very higher level of understanding that it is never for my pleasure. But at least at our stage, even though we make those pizza and pasta for our pleasure, but we offer to the Lord, all the karmic reaction will be taken by the Lord, and what we are eating is karma free diet. So that is D. And E is engagement. What kind of science is there which is without any practical? Can you understand science without doing any practical? It's a simple, like I'm giving just a materialistic example. Can we understand science by doing without doing any practical? Or can science be science without doing any practical? Everything, every theory in science is done by doing the practical. By there was a theory and then it was hypothesized, it was done through the experiment, and after a long experiment, it was inferenced that okay, this is now correct. So experiments makes it perfect. Experiment makes it yes, it works. And what the theory we had is true. Same thing is with spirituality. Having all the knowledge in the world, like I know about God, I know this, I know that. You can do all, you can have all the knowledge in the world. But if you do not do any devotional service, it is completely useless. Right? Because devotional service is the only thing which can help us in advancing in the path of bhakti. There is nothing else. Right? So that is A, B, C, D, E. Right? So that is the way how we can connect to Krishna. Any question? With that we can stop.
Megha, Megha.